What is up, guys? Welcome back to the League Mates podcast. Your favorite host, Chewy.
Your actual favorite host, John.
And your actual favorite host, Logan. What's up, guys?
Don't let
I
them lie
think
to you
that
like that.
that might be the most put together intro we've ever had. I'm almost impressed, guys. Good job.
I'm proud of us. 3 episodes in, and we finally got it.
Four.
Whatever. I don't know how to count.
Yeah, we know.
All right.
What do you guys want to talk about first? You guys made the notes. I didn't. I just work here.
That is true. I don't even have my notes up. Look how professional I am.
Wow.
I have them
Talk
up.
about how proud we were, and here we are.
Look, we got the
Oh,
intro. You
wow.
can't have both. You get one or the other.
That's fair.
You guys want to start with the coach and carousel that happened today? A couple of things we got to talk about. Not just today, but since we reconvened last.
Besides trying to record last night, not being able to.
Yeah, that was so. We apologize for this podcast being a day late. It actually, believe it or not, and I know nobody will, it's not our fault. We had some technical issues.
And you blame them for not believing you?
No, that's why I just addressed it right away. That I, knew that they weren't going to help us, but it was not our
Anyway,
fault.
it's true. It's Logan's fault.
Yeah, it's Logan's fault.
What?
Your least favorite host.
Rah.
You're the one that records this. So,
Anyways,
I'm
so
the one that edits
Texans
this,
head coach.
and both of you are going to have
That
fart
is true.
noises this whole podcast.
what? Fart noises.
I'm not mature enough to not laugh at that.
That's actually factual.
Anyway,
All right,
yes,
so
let's jump into
the Texans head coach signed a 7-year deal.
Not Texans, Texas.
Texas, I apologize. That makes the notes make a lot more sense.
Yes. Steve Sarkisian, or however you say his name. He
That
signed
guy that
7-year
lost to Ohio
extension.
State. Yeah, I remember him.
Lots of people lost to Ohio State this year. So,
Damn, Skippy.
but you know who
Anyways.
won't do that? Notre Dame.
I don't know.
Yep.
We're about to see here in about an hour.
Wait, what? Did somebody just delete? Never mind. Doesn't matter. Yes. Oh, touching back on the podcast that we last recorded, Logan, you owe me $10.
yes,
Also very true.
because the Lions shit.
That was such a fun game to watch. I was so happy.
Yes, it was. Was a very good game. Which,
And the better Dan came out on top.
yeah.
That was just a fun football game to watch, honestly.
It really was. So was the Bills-Ravens game.
Yeah.
A lot lower
Those game-
scoring, but
Ravens.
You know what
had
game sucked?
The Chiefs game?
Yeah, I turned it off.
that was
Yeah,
abysmal.
It was absolutely terrible.
I did see a thing today that Vegas might have had something to do with that one, which is why they took the safety in the back, out of the back of the end zone.
Proper.
Because the spread was at 9.5. So
Yeah, very not.
either way, the refs gave some terrible calls to the Chiefs, which is at this point par for the course.
Yeah.
Um,
The Lions, on the other hand, had some very bad offensive plays and very bad mistakes that ultimately led them to lose the game, which I am happy the Commanders moved on and Jane Daniels gets the opportunity to move on. And it would just be so super cool if they make it to the Super Bowl.
super cute.
Super duper
It would be.
cool.
And I think that they will.
Yeah.
They outperformed the Lions, and I think they're going to outperform the Eagles, who, while they looked a lot better than they did in the wild card round, still did not look all that impressive to me.
Yeah.
The Rams looked even less impressive. But when you're fumbling the ball, like you get paid millions of dollars to fumble the ball instead of carry it into the end zone for touchdowns, selling your parlays, you know, what are you gonna do? Besides lose the game.
Well, that and the Commanders just look all around better. Like they have an all around better team.
Jaden, go ahead, sir.
Jaden Daniels is great. He has all the weapons around him to do exactly what they need to do, and their defense was on fire the whole game versus Detroit.
No, dude, they were lights out.
Yeah, like I said, Detroit had a bunch of offensive problems, but most of that was because of how good Commanders defense was playing.
Oh, dude, it was amazing. And touching on that, John, to add to the list of who did they beat, go ahead and throw the Lions on there for me.
That's fair.
I just remembered you asked me, who did they beat in the playoffs? When I was talking about their defense last week. And yeah, just wanted to bring that up. The other games, who else played? I think we covered them all for the most part. Not a lot to talk about in Rams Eagles. Ravens Bills. Mark Andrews with the game on the line.
What a bozo.
He's about to get ran out of Baltimore faster than he dropped that 2-point conversion.
Oh,
And Lamar also had some mistakes, but Lamar played an overall good game.
Lamar's fumble turned into points.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point that out.
Lamar's fumble turned into points. And listen, no turnover helps the offense. But
Well, no shit.
dropping a 2-point conversion when it's in your hands to tie the game is ridiculous.
I mean, literally, without that, the Bills' offense at that point in the game had slowed down enough that the Ravens were able to stay in it. You know, at one point it was a 2-score game.
Yeah.
And it seemed out of reach, but Lamar just went out there and said, listen, it's never out of reach.
I put
Not
the
for me,
team
not
on
for
my
this
back.
team. It's never out of reach. With that, it did ultimately turn out to be out of reach on, well, the 2-point conversion. But what else is there to say about that?
Which the 2-point conversion pass was not out of reach. It was in his hands.
And he was wide open, uncovered.
You just can't drop passes like that. It's just, you can't. It's a crucial part in an important game to move on, which they haven't been able to do for many years.
Yeah, no, I really, what it comes down to is a lot of talk for a while has been, you know, can Lamar win the big one? And
You got to get there first.
admittedly, I was a doubter, but I'd like to kind of 180 on that. I think Lamar can win the big one, but maybe it's time to move on from old Marky Mark. I mean, he had a terrible start to the season overall. He really didn't show up until the last 2-3 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, imagine drafting him in fantasy.
Don't do this to me right now. Anyway,
That's crazy.
and then in the most important game of the season thus far, losing.
Yeah, that was
Losing the
Ravens'
game
to lose.
The Bills at home were underdogs. So, you know, not a lot else you can do there.
It's just another team that makes it this far and ultimately drops the ball, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself, actually.
Now, speaking of dropping the ball, the Bears have hired Ben Johnson as their new head coach, which I didn't see coming. I really didn't think that he was going to step away from it, from
I
the
Oh, I
uh,
I definitely
from
saw
the
Ben as a head
Lions.
coach, but I didn't see him in Chicago.
I saw it coming. I knew he wanted to leave because of what Amon-Ra St. Brown has talked about on his show. And him and Caleb Williams has been on his show. And they talked about if Ben Johnson were to go to the Bears. It was actually kind of funny because St. Brown was saying how he's going to talk so much shit about how Ben Johnson is not a good coach. So no team wants him. But ultimately, St. Brown loves him and as a coach and as a person and wanted him to stay. So for him to actually go to the Bears after they kind of talked about it was kind of like a wow, that actually kind of happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he was coming to Chicago. I don't really think anybody wants to come to Chicago. Um, with that, what does that mean for Mike McCarthy? I really thought Mike McCarthy's top landing spot was Chicago. Um, he's played in the NFC North. Uh, one of his best attributes is beating the Packers, which is something that the Bears really want.
Did
And
that this season.
once
Yeah.
we'll
First
we'll
time
we'll revisit.
in a long time. They did that.
Yep, we will revisit that next season, buddy. And then I guess talking about Mike McCarthy, um, does he end up in Las Vegas? Because I know that was another potential landing spot for Ben Johnson. Tom Brady actually really wanted to land Ben Johnson for the Raiders. I saw that in a report earlier today. So what do we
Yeah.
think?
I think it I think it'd be I think it's so hard to know a good coach to then go to a not good team and have high hopes, especially as a fan. Because the Bears are notorious for just bearsing everything up. And I don't want him to go
Yeah.
there and just be I don't know if washed is the right word, but I don't want him to go there to wash up. Um but if he goes there and he turns the team around and the offense shows more promise and they go out and win more games and look all around better, he makes a name for himself to turn around a notoriously bad offensive team. And then if he goes there and again washes up, then it's just another coach that got ate by what is the Chicago Bears.
Well, if the Bears didn't have such a sorry ass franchise, it wouldn't keep happening.
Yeah. And a lot of that
So
stuff needs fixed internally before it's fixed on the outside. And him coming in from the outside could be a good move, but they need to fix a lot of stuff internal.
yeah, no. Speaking of teams that need to fix a lot of things internally, Dallas.
Yeah.
That's a shit show.
Indeed it is. Um
Um,
yeah, I don't
who
know
the
what the hell
fuck
they're
is gonna coach the Cowboys next
doing. Yeah,
Like, are they going to hire Mike McCarthy back?
right.
That would be such a Cowboys thing to do. That'd be such a Jerry Jones ass signing, honestly.
Yeah. I have no idea what they're going to do, but they need to figure something out if they want to not have hundreds of millions of dollars wasted after throwing a bag at Dak and CD.
And having a bag that they're going to need to throw at Mike Parsons, too.
Yeah. It's just crazy that they had such high hopes coming into the season. To end the way it did. But that again, that's a Cowboys thing to do. On another note,
Sorry, I just got the call that I don't I don't have to start until noon tomorrow at the very least. But the chances are that I probably won't be working again tomorrow.
There.
Yeah. The high tomorrow is -14 with the wind chill. So
It is cold.
that'll
here.
be fun.
It is very cold here. Anyone that lives
It's
here near us
fucking frozen.
understands that. Very uncool. But let's talk about that Jane Daniels commercial with Jeff Daniels was the greatest thing ever put on television.
That commercial was so funny.
That was the best commercial I've ever seen in my life because it had everything. It was comical. It was comical. And that's all I have. It was.
How many times are you gonna say comical?
Yeah, it was.
That's what I was thinking.
It
was funny. We said that.
Yes, that's all I have. It was funny. That's it.
Yeah, to touch on Logan's point, that commercial was it was comical and also comical.
Thanks. Yep, I agree.
John, any...
That it was comical. Please don't forget. It was very comical.
Thanks. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, you didn't actually. You said it exactly like that.
Yeah, you're right. So it was great.
That's why it was comical.
Yeah.
Anyway,
moving on.
Um,
For those of you
Brian Thomas Jr.
I'm blinking twice for help. Okay.
He can't count to 2. He's lying.
Oh.
Anyways, moving on. I heard a snippet from another podcast earlier this week that Brian Thomas Jr. should definitely be considered up there with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson when it comes to wide receiver.
You're cutting out there a little bit there, John.
That's super unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Brian Thomas Jr. is in the conversation to be an elite LSU wide receiver, such as Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. The season that he had with Mac Jones as the quarterback, because we all know Trevor Lawrence unfortunately got hurt, was still, for a rookie, phenomenal, especially with a backup quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence didn't just get hurt. Alshire fucking murdered him.
Sometimes you get sent to the shadow realm. That's football.
Yeah, that was not a pretty hit.
Fuck no,
but I agree. Brian Thomas Jr. had a great season with their backup quarterback for the remaining of the season. I'm excited to see him next year and see if he lives up to what he not lives up, but if he could build on what he did this season. He is 100% in the conversation of elite wide receivers.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely in the conversation. Now, really think let's not, we can't jump the gun too early on this. He has the potential, but there have been many times where we have seen guys show out in their rookie seasons or their sophomore seasons, and then the very next season, it just all comes crashing down in a disgusting manner.
Yep.
I agree.
So I don't think that'll be the case, but especially being somewhere like Jacksonville, anything's possible.
Yeah. Let's turn this over to like fantasy for a little bit. What pick do you think he would be in a fantasy
coming into the next season?
Team? Yeah, coming up this season.
Oh, I think he's still
he's around 2 or 3.
He's going to be pretty. I disagree. I think he's still going to be pretty available to get. I bet you could get him maybe even 6.
There's no way he goes that late. Somebody's going to try and get him early so that he doesn't go that deep and they miss out on him.
Well,
there's going to be a lot of hype surrounding him, and he's going to be targeted.
I think
the latest I see him going in an actually serious league is the 3rd or the 4th round.
That's fair, but I think the only people that are super excited about him are people that had him this year. If you didn't have Brian Thomas Jr., you really don't know. You don't understand the season you missed out on.
It's true.
Unless you played against him during one of his absolutely insane weeks.
There is that, but that was you could chalk it up to 1 week and move on. But
I mean,
it was consistent. I had Brian Thomas Jr. in multiple leagues and ended up trading him for Jahmyr Gibbs. But
it's true. I did give up Jahmyr Gibbs in that league.
Jahmyr Gibbs had a monster season, though.
I know.
But however, every week, as nervous as I was to start Brian Thomas Jr., I was way less nervous to start him than I was a lot of other guys that were options at the wide receiver position. Michael
Packers
Pittman
wide
Jr. comes
receiver.
to mind. Any Packers wide receiver. But I knew starting Brian Thomas Jr., I had some guaranteed points there. It wasn't
always a lot.
great. It wasn't always great, but it was always at least enough.
Yeah.
You don't win fantasy championships without enough points. So
That is very true.
Yeah,
I unfortunately did not win any chips this season. Made it to one, so can't complain too much. And then got fucked by week 18 football.
I think he will go rather early because of people that either had him or played against him that are riding on the hype of Brian Thomas Jr.
Or just people that do their research in general. Like if you have a league full of people who understand ball and fantasy, because you can't just take all football into consideration when drafting fantasy players. You have to consider the way that fantasy scoring is set up and what it takes to have a long, successful season as a manager of a fantasy football team. And that doesn't always translate to successful players on successful football teams.
Right.
Which is where a lot of people start losing shit.
And we could even use the sleeper league that we were all in, my league, we could use my team as a prime example. On paper, that team was probably the best team drafted. When it came down to it, it really wasn't that great of a team. That's why
I'd say
the playoffs.
I'd say between your team and my team, we had the two best teams in the league. I mean, I had the third highest scoring fantasy team in the whole league, and I was it sixth seed, I believe?
Yeah, because
I just snuck into the playoffs.
Yeah, we know why you snuck into the playoffs, and we're not talking about it. Moving on.
You tried to get me to tank so that you could get a playoff spot.
I lost anyways. It wouldn't have mattered.
But even that,
I know.
Even going back to you guys drafting the better teams on paper.
Oh, we're gonna have this conversation.
Shut up.
Don't you have like toes to go look at or something?
Yeah. Well, my point was,
you said, okay, hold on, pause. That is the second time on air you have like agreed with some foot fetish stuff. Do you want to talk?
Yeah.
Do we need to have a talk?
Not on the podcast. Not what this is about.
Anyway,
whatever.
John took CMC first round, and it was ultimately just a disappointment. I took CD first round and was very upset when Dak got hurt. And that's just prime example of good players not on good teams. And that's more than just what fantasy is.
10 balls for 10 yards, you still have a good fantasy day.
Yeah. And although he didn't do anything, like it wasn't close to what it was previously, it was still, it wasn't, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't have picked him at number one. But back to what you guys were saying, it's more than just good players. It's the longevity of the season. And I made the championship, and then my team shit its pants the week before the last game.
Oh, so bad. So bad. It was everywhere.
It was the worst. I didn't even break 100 points.
Yeah, and that was week 17. That wasn't even week 18 football.
Yeah, because in my league we do it right.
Okay.
But yeah, very bad. Anyway, I'm getting sad. Move on.
Moving on.
Oh, you're
Moving
probably not
on.
going to be very happy at the end of today either.
Yeah.
I'll be very happy at the end of today.
I want you to make a marker on the recording right now so that I can reference this later.
All right.
What you just said.
Yep.
So you're going to be happy even if Ohio State wins.
Oh, they're not going.
They are.
Right, but if they do.
But they won't.
But if they do.
And if they do, it'll be two dog teams going out there fighting to the end. It's not going to be a blowout game. It's going to be.
Okay.
It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. It's not going to be anything close to what Ohio State's done to every other team this season or what Notre Dame's done to every other team this season. It's going to come down to the two best teams in the nation fighting head-to-head till the last second.
So what? The Bears hire Ben Johnson, and all of a sudden you've got filled with false hope across everything?
That's not false hope.
Don't you know to go into things with this being disappointed, especially something of this caliber for a team that, while they earned their spot, certainly wasn't top pick.
I remember Notre Dame's last national championship.
I do too. It got shut off after the first quarter because there was no point in watching.
This one is different.
All right. So we moving on to the national championship then, as we're getting ready to kick off here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're actually making the picks as the college game day is.
Well, obviously we all know.
We already made our picks.
Yeah, like.
Oh yeah.
We're
go put it in the thing. It's
right now. They know that you're Ohio State. I'm Notre Dame, and yeah, I've already said my piece on how I think that game's gonna go. So if anyone else has anything to say, then speak now or forever hold your peace.
I mean, go Bucks.
The suck eyes.
We'll see.
Yes, we will.
We will see. So, you guys want to talk upcoming playoff football then?
Upcoming playoff football. This week of football is NFL is going to be.
Oh, it's going to be such a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm not even going to watch the Chiefs game.
Yeah, probably won't turn that one on either, myself.
I'm back.
But
hey, welcome back.
I had some technical difficulties.
Alrighty, well, I'm glad we got them figured out.
Y'all didn't even know I was having technical difficulties.
Had no idea.
Kansas City and the Bills. I really hope the Bills just go out there and destroy them. But you're not just playing Kansas City, which is ultimately Kansas City's a good team. You're playing Kansas City and you're playing the refs, and that's just a recipe for disaster. And the Commanders and the Eagles, though, that's going to be a good game.
Well, that's funny.
With that being said, give me the Bills and give me the Commanders.
Hey, Logan, I want to disagree with you for the sake of crowning a champion before the Super Bowl even gets here. But I'm with you. Give me the Bills. Give me the Commanders. They're the two best-looking teams left in the playoffs. And the argument I had made previously, Jalen Hurts can't go back to the Super Bowl. He's been there once. He lost. It's never happened, and this year ain't going to be any different.
Yeah. Maybe. I really don't see them going because the Commanders are just going to go out and destroy them.
No, it absolutely.
But we can't discredit Barkley, and we can't discredit Hurts running with the ball.
I can discredit Hurts, and I'm going to. He played better this week, but I still don't think he looked good.
Yeah, I guess. John, who do you got?
So I mean I'm on the same page as you guys. I would love to see the Bills and the Commanders in the dance. I think that would be a fun Super Bowl. That's one that I've never seen. I don't know if you guys ever remember a Super Bowl like that. Probably not, but I'm tired of seeing the same teams, and I'm definitely sick of watching the refs play football because that doesn't make for good football.
Yep, I agree. So we all got the Bills, and we all got the Commanders.
I mean, that's what I want to happen, but like realistically, I have a feeling it might be the Commanders.
So for the sake of the picks,
we're not making our picks until later this week.
Okay.
I want to get through more of the week.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll do that next time.
See different injury reports and stuff like that.
Yeah, but as it sits now,
That's fair.
Now, the Commanders and the Bills are the two teams I want to watch in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would be great. Is there anything else we should touch on before this game starts?
What time? How much time are we at?
I don't know. Should
Right
we
now
just talk about the game then?
To 35 minutes.
Let's try and get at least 10 more minutes, maybe 15.
We could push it for longer than that if we talk about the start of the game.
We can talk a little bit about betting, like some betting odds and stuff.
Yeah, you guys can throw up some betting stuff. And then if that stalls until the game starts, we can cover the first half or something.
Yeah, hang on. Trying to situate dinner.
That's fine. It might become the Chewy John show at the start of this game.
Why is that?
Because it's either going to be really good and I'm going to get loud, or it's going to be really bad and I'm going to get loud.
What the fuck do you think is going to happen on my end, dipshit idiot?
That's why I didn't want to record into the game.
Well, then we don't have to record it into the game. We'll just fill it with something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Logan, pull up betting odds. I have to make my kid dinner. I will still be active and talking, but
all this side conversation is getting edited, so I'm going to start from the top. Betting odds.
That's fine. Yeah. No. Fuck. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. We got some odds for this upcoming national championship game. As it sits right now, Ohio State is projected to win with minus 375, and Notre Dame is plus 295. The over is
right on that
45.5, with the spread being Ohio State negative 8.5. Jeremiah Love, Trayvon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Emeka Ibuka are all projected to score. Actually, Ibuka is plus 125. Judkins is minus 110. Henderson is minus 120. And Smith is minus 130. Both quarterbacks are projected to get over 150 passing yards. Actually, Will Howard's is 175 plus minus 1,000. And Riley Leonard is 150 minus 255. On the
I'm gonna build a little
rush
pregame parlay here. I have 1 minute.
Jeremiah Smith, 40 yards plus rushing is minus 1,100. Oh, that's crazy.
Jeremiah Smith isn't listed.
Oh, Jeremiah Smith receiving yards, my fault, is 40 for 1,100. And,
No, on the touchdown scores, sorry.
oh, the touchdown scores?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith, what are you using? You're not on DraftKings, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, right. He's right at the top. He's at the top touchdown scores for me for minus 130.
I don't take spread here, but I don't know. I don't know.
Did you guys get that sleeper notification?
No.
Nice.
Sleeper doesn't give me notifications.
Cooper Kupp plans to play next season, but his future with.
Wow.
Interesting.
So plans to play, but is unsure if it's going to be with the Rams. Where do you guys think he would go?
Done.
That's a tough call. I mean, you got to think of a team who needs like a veteran. I mean, Jacksonville would, in my mind, a potential landing spot. You got the young rookie and Brian Thomas. You bring in Cooper Kupp on a 2-year or even a 1-year prove it. And even if he doesn't prove it, Brian Thomas still learns from a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah. For sure.
Green Bay could use a veteran wide receiver to help with these guys dropping balls as much as they do. You'd think they were teenagers going through puberty. Chicago's probably going to have to replace Keenan Allen. We don't know if he's playing again this year or not.
Yeah, that one is a toss-up.
I could see the Lions picking him up just to add some more depth at wide receiver. Not that they really needed all that much.
Well, that was St. Brown and Williams.
St. Brown, Williams. Who else do they have? Tim Patrick, Sam Laporta, which, I mean, I know he's a tight end, but same.
Yeah.
Anywhere else? Minnesota, maybe? It could go to the Chargers, stay in LA.
That's true. With yeah, I don't know where he might go. And maybe he might stay with the Rams.
I don't know. It depends on if they want to pay him or not, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dealt with injuries a little bit. He's older. Takes a little bit longer to come back. They might just say, why don't you go see what you can get in free agency and maybe land like a Derrick Henry deal or something.
Yeah, very well possible. Anything else that you guys can think of you want to add in this episode?
Play your guys' games in Madden.
No, I'm playing mine right now.
And go Irish.
I agree. Go Irish. And with that being said,
Go Buckeyes.
You got so hyped.
OHIO.
Hey, never mind. It's probably not podcast appropriate.
I got
I'm going to say it. If it gets cut, it gets cut. You can't spell cocksucker without OSU.
oh, that's staying in.
That's because our editor's a Notre Dame fan.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that is true.
Thank you guys for listening. Oh, Chewy?
No. It was just
Okay. Thank you
Inside
guys for
thought.
listening to the 4th episode of the League Mates podcast. As always, you can find all of our social medias on our link tree. We
not our personal
appreciate
social
the
medias.
support.
We'll link those one day.
No, we won't. We
Never.
appreciate
Mine will
the
be.
support this far and the listeners that have listened to every single episode.
If you haven't listened to every single episode from start to finish, I don't love you. My I love yous at the end of the episodes, not for you. That will only stand for a short time because obviously at some point this podcast will have like 100 episodes. And my love's going to have to extend to all the loyal fans. But for
The
now,
loyal ones.
yeah, but for now, if you haven't listened to all 4 episodes, start to finish, then fuck you.
Maybe not that, but that's pretty rude, and we wish you would. But we're glad you're here now.
That is also true. With that being said, I love you all. You know who's excluded.
Just guys being dudes.
Just guys
Just guys being dudes.